Most men think intimacy begins in the bedroom. But I'm going to tell you something that might surprise you. It actually begins much, much earlier. And in the most unexpected places. You see, for years I've watched couples struggle. Men who love their partners deeply, but somehow can't seem to create that profound connection they're longing for. They focus on the lips, maybe the neck, and think that's the only path to genuine closeness. But what if I told you the deepest, most intimacy-building kisses happen somewhere entirely different? Places most men overlook their entire lives. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Dr. Amelia Wright, and I've been working as a consultant urologist specializing in men's health for over 25 years. Today, I'm going to show you 4 particularly sensitive areas on a woman's body where just one gentle kiss can be enough to ignite intimacy, trust, and profound connection. But before we dive in, let me share something that happened in my clinic just last month. A 68-year-old patient, I'll call him James, came to see me. He'd been married for 42 years, and he said something that stayed with me. He said, "Dr. Wright, my wife and we've drifted apart, not dramatically, but quietly. I don't know how to reach her anymore." We talked for nearly an hour, and by the end, I'd shared these exact techniques with him. 3 weeks later, he sent me a message. "I feel like I've got my wife back. That simple change made all the difference." Now, I want you to understand why this works. So here's a quick medical insight. When we kiss, several systems in the body activate simultaneously. The contact of saliva and skin stimulation trigger the limbic system in the brain. That's the part responsible for emotions and memories. At the same time, the hormone oxytocin is released, which reduces stress, lowers blood pressure, and strengthens the bond between two people. Studies show that couples who kiss regularly live on average up to 5 years longer and suffer significantly less from loneliness and depression. If you're finding this helpful so far, please leave a comment with the number 1. If you think it's not quite hitting the mark yet, leave a 2 so I can improve the content for future videos. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you won't miss any more tips on men's health after 60. Thank you for that. Right then, let's discover the first spot together. The nape of the neck, right at the hairline. This is the first place men far too often overlook. And believe me, this seemingly innocuous spot can be an absolute powerhouse for intimacy. Why? Because it's simultaneously highly sensitive and vulnerable. A woman can't see what's happening there, which means she has to trust you. That very fact alone makes every kiss in this spot a profound signal of safety. From a medical perspective, this area is rich in nerve endings that connect directly to the limbic system, the part of the brain that controls emotions and memories. That means one gentle kiss. There doesn't just activate skin receptors, it also triggers responses in the emotional center. Studies in neuropsychology show that touches in this region measurably lower cortisol levels while simultaneously increasing oxytocin release. In other words, you're reducing stress and building trust in just a few seconds. Many men make one critical mistake, though. They go in too forcefully. They see the neck as a place of dominance. But in truth, it's a place of surrender. And when you treat this spot with tenderness and patience, you're communicating non-verbally. You're safe with me. I'm looking after you. So how do you do it properly? Take your time. Gently brush her hair to one side. Pause for a brief moment. Then let your lips rest very slowly and softly on her neck. No hasty sucking, no excessive pressure. It's not about forcing passion, but rather offering calm and warmth. A kiss like this whispers, "I see you. I value you." Many of my older patients have told me that precisely this kind of closeness was often far more important to their partner than any physical technique in the bedroom. Because when a woman feels safe, she opens up in a way that's unforgettable. Trust is the foundation, and the nape of the neck at the hairline is one of the most direct pathways there. Now, here's something fascinating. A study from Oxford University found that women reported feeling more emotionally connected after neck kisses than after any other form of non-sexual touch. Think about that for a moment. Let's move on to the second spot. The hollow of the collarbone. This is subtle, almost inconspicuous, yet enormously powerful. That little dip where the neck and chest meet. Most men completely overlook this area. But from both a symbolic and physiological standpoint, it's one of the most intimate regions of the body. Why here specifically? Firstly, this spot is near the heart, literally and figuratively. A kiss there conveys not just physical closeness, but also appreciation and reverence. It's a gesture that says, I don't just see your body, I honor your being. For many women, especially later in life, that feeling is crucial. Not being reduced to sexuality, but being perceived as a complete person. Medically speaking, this area is also rich in sensitive skin receptors closely linked to the parasympathetic nervous system, the part of our nervous system responsible for rest and relaxation. A gentle kiss on the collarbone can measurably slow the heartbeat, deepen breathing, and create an atmosphere of profound calm. In a Japanese study from 2019, women who regularly received gentle non-sexual kisses on the neck and collarbone showed significantly lower stress markers in their blood. How do you do it right? Approach playfully, but respectfully. Trace the line of her collarbone lightly with your fingertip, a small gesture that signals, "My attention belongs to you." Then lean forward and place a series of small, closed, gentle kisses in the hollow at the base of her neck. It's not about passion or conquest, but rather about acknowledgement. And that's precisely the point. A kiss on the collarbone breaks the pattern that every touch must automatically lead to more. It shows, I'm enjoying this moment without any demands. This feeling of simply being accepted gives a woman enormous security. Many men have told me their partner became much more relaxed, open, and receptive to closeness after such gestures because the pressure had disappeared. One of my patients, a retired headmaster from Yorkshire, told me his wife actually wept the first time he kissed her collarbone in this way. After 37 years of marriage, she said it was the first time she'd felt truly seen in years. That's the power of thoughtful intimacy. If you're longing for deeper intimacy, remember this. It's often the small, unspectacular gestures that have the greatest impact. A kiss on the collarbone isn't just affection. It's a silent bow of reverence to the woman standing by your side. Right, let's talk about the third spot. And this one might sound unusual at first. The inner elbow. Many men would never think to kiss their partner there, but it's precisely this unexpectedness that makes the moment so intense. Why is this area so special? The skin in the crook of the elbow is extremely thin, delicate, and rich in nerve endings. At the same time, it's a region we instinctively protect. Everyone knows that feeling, how sensitive it is when someone tickles or touches you there. A gentle kiss in this zone therefore sends two immediate messages: surprise and trust. From a neuroscientific perspective, we're talking about what's called the novelty effect. Our brain responds particularly strongly to stimuli that aren't commonplace. A kiss in an unexpected place activates areas in the reward center that barely react to routine actions. In other words, it breaks the pattern of habit and creates a little shiver of discovery. Of course, timing matters here. This isn't a kiss for a first date or a fleeting moment. The inner elbow is appropriate when trust is already established. For example, whilst cuddling on the sofa or during an intimate embrace. You can gently stroke her arm with your fingers, lightly extend it, and place a feather-light, almost ticklish kiss with just your lips in the crook. Some men enhance the effect by starting at the hand and slowly wandering up the forearm with small kisses until they reach the sensitive crook. This turns the moment into a little journey of discovery that shows every part of you is valuable. I'm taking the time to truly explore you. From my experience counseling older couples, I know women over 60 respond particularly positively to such gestures. They feel not just physically desired, but seen as a person in their entirety. A kiss in the crook of the elbow is far more than a trick. It's a symbol of curiosity, appreciation, and the willingness to find new paths to intimacy. I had a patient, a Welsh gentleman in his 70s, who tried this technique. He rang me a fortnight later, absolutely chuffed. He said his wife hadn't stopped talking about how romantic and thoughtful he'd become. Something so simple had reignited a spark they thought had long gone out. Now, the fourth spot we're going to look at might seem rather old-fashioned, and that's precisely why it's so effective. The back of the hand. Many people associate this kiss with old films or courtly rituals, but don't underestimate what it contains in a mature, loving context. A kiss on the back of the hand is a gesture full of respect, tenderness, and quiet adoration. Why does it touch women so deeply? Firstly, because our hands are the tools of our daily lives. They tell stories of work, care, and experiences. So when you kiss the back of her hand, you're symbolically honoring all that your partner has done and created in her life. Especially for women beyond 60, this gesture can be incredibly empowering because they're not being reduced to youth and body alone, but honored as a whole person with their life's achievements. From a physiological perspective, the back of the hand is interesting as well. The skin is thin and sensitive, threaded with fine blood vessels and nerve endings. A gentle kiss here can trigger a pleasantly warm reaction. Not as strongly arousing as on the neck or collarbone, but calming and connecting. In psychology, we speak of a social signal of care, small gestures that foster deep trust and security. How do you go about it? It's quite simple, and that's what makes it so lovely. Take her hand consciously in yours. Pause briefly. Then lean forward slightly to place a slow, closed kiss on the back of her hand. Not a quick brush, but a moment of mindfulness. You can maintain eye contact or seek it afterwards. Either way reinforces the message. I respect you. You're valuable to me. Many men have told me their partner was surprised, paused, and had tears in her eyes at this gesture because she felt seen in a way she hadn't experienced in ages. It's a small act, but it works like a key. It opens the door to deep emotionality without pressure or expectations. I'll never forget what one gentleman from Cornwall told me. He'd been a builder all his life. Rough hands, not much for words. But when he started kissing his wife's hand like this, she told him it meant more than any expensive gift ever had. Because it showed he truly saw her, valued her, honored her. Never forget, passion alone doesn't carry a relationship across decades. But respect, recognition, and care do. And that's exactly what a kiss on the back of the hand conveys. A quiet, almost old-fashioned, but timelessly powerful form of intimacy. So, there you have it, gentlemen. 4 spots that can accomplish more than many elaborate techniques. The nape at the hairline for trust. The hollow of the collarbone for appreciation. The inner elbow for surprise. And finally, the back of the hand as a sign of quiet reverence. What all these kisses have in common is that they go far beyond physical stimulation. They send messages of safety, respect, and affection. Signals that reach your partner's emotional center. And that's where true intimacy is born. Not through haste or technique, but through presence, patience, and genuine devotion. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. This seems too simple. But that's exactly the point. The most profound connections often come from the simplest gestures. One of my patients put it brilliantly. He said, "Dr. Wright, we spend so much time trying to be impressive that we forget to be present." And here's something critical. Many men make the mistake of rushing these moments, treating them as steps in a sequence rather than valuable experiences in themselves. Each of these kisses deserves its own moment. Don't move from one to the next, like you're ticking boxes on a list. Savor each one. Be fully there. I've also noticed that men often worry about getting it wrong. Let me reassure you, there's no perfect technique here. What matters most is the intention behind it. Your partner can feel when you're genuinely trying to connect with her versus when you're just going through the motions. Authenticity trumps technique every single time. Another common question I get is about timing. When's the right moment for these gestures? And the answer is more often than you think. These aren't just for special occasions or romantic evenings. Sometimes the most meaningful moment is a Tuesday afternoon when she's had a difficult day, or a Sunday morning over coffee. The unexpectedness of tenderness in ordinary moments often makes it even more powerful. One more thing, and this is crucial. These gestures work best when they're not obviously leading somewhere. If every tender touch becomes a prelude to something more, it loses its power. These kisses need to be able to exist on their own, as complete expressions of affection without expectation. That's when they become truly transformative. When you start incorporating these small gestures into your relationship, you'll notice something shift. Your partner feels seen, valued, and opens up in a way that's deeper, more genuine, and more lasting than any fleeting moment of passion. The beauty of these techniques is that they create a positive feedback loop. The more connected she feels, the more she'll want to connect. The safer she feels, the more vulnerable she'll allow herself to be. I want to be clear about something, though. These aren't tricks or manipulation tactics. They're expressions of genuine care and respect. If you're approaching them as techniques to get what you want, your partner will sense that. But if you're approaching them as ways to truly honor and connect with the woman you love, the results will be remarkable. Think about it this way. After decades together, it's easy to fall into patterns. We stop seeing our partners as the fascinating, complex individuals they are, and start seeing them as familiar, predictable presences in our lives. These gestures break that pattern. They remind both of you that there's still mystery, still discovery, still romance to be found. I've had countless men tell me these simple changes have saved their marriages. Not because of anything complicated or dramatic, but because they started paying attention again. They started being present. They started treating their partners with the reverence they deserve. Before we wrap up, let me share one final story. A patient of mine, I'll call him Robert, had been married for 48 years. He came to see me because, in his words, the magic's gone. We talked about these exact techniques. He was skeptical at first, thought it all sounded a bit soft, but he tried it anyway. 6 months later, I saw him for a follow-up. He looked 10 years younger. He told me that his wife had said something that moved him to tears. She said, "I feel like I'm falling in love with you all over again." All from these small, consistent gestures of tenderness and respect. That's the power of mindful intimacy. It doesn't require grand gestures or expensive gifts. It requires presence, attention, and the willingness to honor your partner in the small moments that make up a life together. If you've enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with the number 1. If you feel it hasn't quite hit the mark, leave a 2 so I can keep improving the content for you. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you won't miss any more tips on men's health after 60. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, intimacy isn't a race. It's the art of creating profound closeness through small gestures. Take your time, be present, and watch how your relationship transforms.